Hello. Right, I'll just start off doing this and then I'll have a chat about what I'm going to say today. I've only just started, it's 10:28. I have got to do an out today. I'm not as insular as you think, but I've got to go out. So the drawing window for today is a little bit shorter. I've got time to do this video while my hair's drying. And on hair, yeah, I'm still working on this. So from the last video, things have moved on and I'm there. What I need to be is finished. When you do this, the time, you're very wary of time when you've got a deadline. It's a self-imposed deadline. I mean, it's my fault that I'm doing this. It's not like a business deadline or anything. But when I started this idea, it was I'm going to draw Robin every year for his birthday. That's July the 21st, so this has got to be finished by July the 21st, and at this point I know it will be finished, but I am a little bit nervous because if I make one mistake I'm going to have to start again, because you can't just rub this kind of work out. People would think that it's pencil, you can rub it out and start again. Well, you can if it's a light line, but if it is something as in-depth as this, you might as well throw away the paper and start again. So yeah, it's I know it'll be finished, and I think it will be finished next week, which will give me a bit of time, but I'll be able to breathe when it's done, and I can move on to another one, because I'm just nervous about getting it done in time. Now, going on what I showed yesterday in yesterday's video with the stand-up, I'll show you where I started with Robin. Now, I collect film. I don't really stream. I've got one streaming platform, that's it. I've got access to one streaming platform, and that's my limit. The thing is, when you do streaming, making sure that this camera's in the right position, when you do streaming, you're constantly paying rental. It's like going into a video library in the 80s, and the moment you go in, you're charged. Doesn't matter whether you're buying anything or not, you know, whether you're renting a film, you pay at the door, and it's a video library rental thing. It's like going into a basic library now, and before you even pick up a book, you're being charged at the door. You wouldn't do it. The same way as museums in this country, they're free to enter. You can pay donations, but museums are free to enter. Some exhibits can be a cost, but most things are free to enter with museums, because education should be free. Say that to those who are having to pay the student loans back. I mean, I came from a time, and I was a very young child, that university was free. You just went to college or university, it was free. Then they put the prices on. But there was a time in the 70s where it was just free education, and you could do the Open University as well in the UK. Now we don't live in that world, but with streaming, I have a very... I get annoyed with it. I collect film. I always have done. I was buying widescreen VHS and standard VHS when I had a CRT, and oh god, I do miss CRT. But I had a few films, but when I went into a video library, I used to see the amount of films that were on there, on the shelves, and the new releases and the old ones, and you could just pick up what you wanted. It was about £2 for a night. Where I was, it wasn't that much. And you could rent a film and then take it back the next day, and as long as it was back by about 5-6 o'clock, you wouldn't be charged extra. Now, when we get to streaming platforms, as I said, you are paying through the nose for... You're paying monthly. Doesn't matter whether you use it or not, the streaming platform is taking it out of your pocket. By direct debit, of course. But if you don't use that streaming platform in a month, you're still going to be charged. And it's that where I have a bone of contention, that if you look at how many streaming platforms have popped up over recent years, you're paying, what, about £300 a month if you want all of them? Add it up. Add up how much your streaming platforms are on all the platforms that are available. There's bound to be an online list to say how much you pay for each platform, and then just get a calculator and tot it up. Just see how much you'd pay if you want to get all of the platforms. And that's not special deals, that is paying for platforms straight out, without ads. Pay for it without ads, then see how much it is. So when video libraries came on, I mean, if you look at what I grew up with Mork and Mindy. That's where I knew Robin. He was Mork. This is where I'm going to lead in this video. So Robin was Mork. Mork and Mindy was on all the time. Then it wasn't. Then it was shown in repeats. Then it wasn't. And now it's just not. And a lot of TV companies are, when it went to widescreen, they did it with cartoons as well. They just stopped showing 4:3 because you had to side mat it. And you'd either have to side mat it or stretch it. It looked awful stretched. Also, these films were recorded on film, but age had turned them a little bit ropey, and they'd run them into the ground, and we can't show them, so they just didn't show them properly. And now they've replaced everything that was fun with something that I don't find fun. Well, when the video library was there, and it was local video libraries, that was my only access to Hollywood and entertainment. Where I live is sort of like a one-horse town, and the locals have eaten the horse. There's not much entertainment here. If you want entertainment, you've got to travel either on the train or on a bus to get to an area and then do your thing and then travel back. I mean, there's a convention on Saturday, the local convention that I was going to go to, and I was going to meet a few people, a few stars. There's a train strike. Suddenly I've got to get up at, well, I've got to try and get a taxi for a train at 6:15 in the morning for a trip that'll take maybe about 40 minutes. But because it's a strike, it'll take about an hour and a half. I can't go. I bought that ticket ages ago. But somebody's decided to do a train strike, and a taxi, the local taxi service, if I contacted them, it'd be, well, I'm not going at that time. And the next time is 7 o'clock, and by the time I get there, the doors have already opened and the show's already started. So I'm stuck in the house. That's what it's like around here, that if you want to go out, you're basically going out to do shopping, food shopping, and going around the shops. There's no museums around here. Again, I've got to travel to go to a museum. There's no art gallery museum. There's a building that used to be an art gallery, but it's been taken over with restaurants. But when going on to Robin again, in the 70s I grew up with Mork and Mindy, and I saw Robin as Mork. I saw the very first episode and I fell for him. I just thought he was the funniest man you could ever hope to see. He drunk from his finger. He said weird words like nanu. He changed his voice. He was such an inspiration. I mean, people now, they just go and say, well, Mrs. Doubtfire and Aladdin. That's because they grew up in that world. I mean, they didn't grow up in the world of Mork and Mindy. And now Mork and Mindy is only remembered by the people who saw it. Now, you can get the film, the box set, in the UK, unless it's out of print. You can go hunting for it. It shouldn't be too expensive to get. And it's 4 seasons. But when Mork and Mindy came out in America, I went, no, I'm buying the DVD. So I got it years before it came out in the UK. There's always a delay, and cartoons never get the recognition they deserve over here. For here it's children's cartoons, so classic cartoons like Scooby-Doo will be available. But if you want to get Clue Club, Inch High Private Eye, Captain Caveman, you've got to go hunting. Because while they're out, they're not out in this country. That's why I've got a multi-region player. But let me just show you about things, and I'll this is where I am on this picture. What I've got to do is just try and build this flesh tone. But let me just show you something. So, Happy Days, that came out in this country, but they didn't release all the seasons. I believe there's 9 seasons. But this box set, Robin is in it. This is where Mork started. They saw Robin on stand-up and went, we've got to have him as a character in Happy Days. Happy Days was one of the biggest shows you'd ever find. But how do you... also, I met Henry Winkler quite a few years ago. But also, how do you introduce a character? Well, Robin was doing stand-up, he was doing weird voices and improvising. Let's turn him into an alien. And there's 2 episodes in this. It then went to Laverne and Shirley. Now this box set, again, you can't get it in this country, you can't get it in the UK. Don't know why, they just haven't bothered to release it. So I've bought it, well, I had it for my birthday one year, and I like the series. I grew up with Laverne and Shirley. And then he had his own show. Now there's 4 seasons. Again, these are the American releases. And there's a couple of Christmas episodes, and then Jonathan Winters came in as their son, Mirth. And to see Robin and Jonathan Winters play together, this one was it ended the series because it changed the dynamic, but this one, it's actually a joy to see these two play together and improvise. But it doesn't stop there. If I'd showed you all my films, you'd be a bit shocked. Because, well, Taxi came out in this country. When does that get shown? Go hunting for it on streaming if you want. See if you can find Taxi, Happy Days, Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley. See if you can find the Mary Tyler Moore Show on streaming. No? What about WKRP in Cincinnati? What about finding Lucan, The Magician, Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew? Now there's 3 seasons of this. I'm afraid that's got a bit of dust on it. I'll just wipe that off. There were 3 seasons, but the 3rd season isn't very good at all, so I just bought the 2. Again, out of print, really difficult to find. I've also got the Monkeys in the house, the Monkeys TV series. Again, very difficult to find. I don't think it came out in this country. And this is where we get a problem, that I'm happy to buy the discs in this country, but when they don't get released, get a multi-region player. And I've got a Sony X something or other. It runs everything. So if I want to run locked region A, then I can just press a button and I'm into locked region A. Again, with streaming, why do I need streaming when I can just go and buy the discs? And let's say that these TV series, these classic TV series, I mean, Lucan, that was a really good series. Let me just show you. Lucan, a very short-lived series, used to be on a summer holiday, and it's a boy who grew up with wolves. It's Romulus and Remus. The Magician was before Hulk. And this is a fantastic TV series. Really good TV series. And Bill Bixby entered the what was the Magic Circle, but in America it's the Magic Castle. He knew magic tricks. He learnt magic tricks. And it's magic and mystery. It's a really, really good series. It's one of the best series that I ever watched. But that was it. When I was watching TV in the 70s and 80s, I didn't only have the 60s TV that was being repeated, and Doctor Who, let's face it, was a better series in the past than whatever it turned into now. But I had access to things like Mission Impossible and Starsky and Hutch when that came out, and Charlie's Angels. And now, well, I had Saturday mornings, and the summer holiday is just about coming up. My experience of the summer holiday, you could sit there and watch repeats of BBC programmes. They'd actually put Lucan on, and The Magician, and Nancy Drew, and these shows. They put Remington Steele on one time, and they had these shows just available. So you'd have cartoons, you'd have shows that were made just for the summer holiday. The Red Hand Gang would be shown, which I've got, and it was something to enjoy if you weren't going out, or if it was a rainy day. But sometimes I wouldn't go out in the morning because, well, I wanted to watch these programmes. And also there were times that I wasn't allowed out, and it wasn't being naughty, it was just overprotection. But we'll digress. But now, well, for the longest time, the children with the summer holidays have got a show called This Morning, which is just, they'll have the supply teachers in, and it's just a magazine-based programme, but they'll be talking about anything from fashion to health issues to... They don't really have a direction, it's just fashion and health issues and movies and that kind of thing, but they won't really do much for children. I grew up with children's programmes on a weekday morning. They were showing episodes, Disney episodes, so at times they were showing DuckTales and Rescue Rangers and Gummy Bears and Wuzzles. Well, now they haven't, and they haven't done for ages. They were showing constant cartoons. There was one programme, and I'm going to have to stop in a moment, but there was one programme that they did, and you'd phone up with requests for cartoons that you'd seen. You could just describe the cartoon. So, I want to see the episode where Bugs Bunny is on a pirate ship with Yosemite Sam, and he's throwing matches down the galley where the explosives are. Oh, we know that episode. Pump, we'll put it on. I want to watch the episode where Daffy Duck is Duck Dodgers. Okay, we'll watch that episode. And they just... It was a proper interaction show. And you just phone up and ask for it, or some of them do mail-in. And it was mail-in, you'd send a postcard. And now, modern world, we haven't got that. And we've lost so much that it's not the same. And it's not the same as what I grew up with, which is that. And I do feel like the children have lost something. Now, I can show a child the majority of these, well, all of them actually. I could show them every episode and not bother, because they were universal audience. There's nothing much in there to worry a child. It's not like I'm showing them The Evil Dead. But I haven't got a child to show. So I've collected these out of memory and nostalgia. And I haven't got a child to show it to. And to be honest, if I don't leave where I live, it will never happen. And then what will happen to these drawings, and what will happen to the to everything when time progresses, and that's it. This is the worry that I've got, that I've collected all these things, and well, there are members of family, and not that I'm going to slate family, but of whatever's remaining, and they just don't care what I do. And it's seen as a bit of a waste, and all my Star Wars figures and all my artwork and the films that I've collected, I've got this horrible feeling they're going to be thrown on the scrap heap. Because people around here don't treat me well. It's like I've said, there are people who treat me like I'm not alive, and they don't talk. And this is one reason that I want to leave. I want to escape where I live, because I need to change my life. You see, this drawing comes from years and years of boredom as well as natural ability. You don't do this straight away. You learn. But it's, hey, I've done a drawing. Yeah, so what? That. I mean, Robin was found. He was discovered doing stand-up. He was doing mime out in Central Park. And he was discovered. Well, what would have happened if Robin wasn't discovered? He was a gift. Same as Ozzy. Ozzy was a gift. And there's a lot of people who are in the public eye, and you ask them how they got in. Oh, somebody help me. Well, where I am, nobody helps. They just see a picture on Facebook and go, oh, good one that, like that, and then they clear off and they don't say anything. And you become more of a curiosity and something to... I mean, when I'm going to finish off that Facebook page, but it didn't take long for school bullies to find me, and they just started attacking me through my artwork on my page, and it damaged it even now. But anyway, I am going to have to switch off because I've got to get ready. And I've been going on for a bit too long. So this is where I am at the moment. And whoever stayed to watch it, I mean, come on, I'm not getting anything on this. Whoever stayed to watch it, thank you. But I just need some help. I'm really putting these videos on to show what I do to whoever can see it, because I'm drawing these on my own with no real support, and I'm not making anything out of it. Not that I'm doing it for money, but I'm not making anything out of it, and I need something different. So this is where I am at the moment, and anybody who doesn't think it's real, there we go, there's the paper. There's the paper. That's real paper. I'll see you on the next video. Bye.